Welcome back to A Slice of News, where I cut you off a slice of news. As we enter the fifth day of the government shutdown, and it was in the midst of this government shutdown that U.S. Treasurer Brandon Beach revealed proposed designs for a $1 coin celebrating the nation's semi-quincentennial next year. The design is also celebrating current President Donald Trump. The proposed design has a profile of the president, surrounded by the words liberty and in God we trust. The reverse side has a picture of a defiant Donald Trump standing in front of the American flag with its fist raised to the sky with the words fight, fight, fight above him. Treasurer Beach said he would provide more information on this proposed coin once the quote obstructionist shutdown of the United States government is over. If the gaudy, ugly design of that coin wasn't sign enough, the language Treasurer Beach used there clearly shows just how deep in the pocket of President Trump he is, and the Treasury Department as a whole. Back during his first term in 2020, Congress passed the Circulating Collectible Coin Redesign Act of 2020, which allowed the federal government to mint dollar coins with, quote, designs emblematic of the U.S. quincentennial for issuance throughout next year. I can't say for sure that when they passed that, they didn't have a Trump coin in mind, but I do feel that given that they were, even then, many Trump loyalists in Congress, it would not surprise me if this was, at least in part, one of their end goals. As a deeply vain and weak man, the idea of having the U.S. Mint officially mint a coin with his face on it would be perfect for Donald Trump, and I have no doubt that he had every intention to find a way to get a coin minted with his face on it. Partially because I know he would love to see his face on a coin, partially because I know he would love to get his supporters to buy sacks of them as some sort of tribute to his great and awesome presidency and how great he is. And they would likely eat them up because they will buy anything with his name or face on them, including a coin. And because he is a petty and vindictive man, I know that he would also love the idea of his detractors being mad about it, because in so many ways he is nothing better than an internet troll who just likes to do things because it makes his haters mad. You'd think a guy pushing 80 would be beyond acting like a 12-year-old, but he's Donald Trump and he is like that. On top of just being an ugly coin, it is very clearly commemorating a leader who has actively voiced the fact that he does not want to be a representative of the entire nation, only of those that support him. He is the president for his supporters only, and not all of the American people. I mean, officially, he is the nation's president, but he does not act as if he wants to be the president of the United States. He only wants to be the president of the MAGA states. A president that relishes that sort of division really has no place on a coin meant to commemorate the 250th birthday of our nation. The inscription of fight, fight, fight on the proposed design isn't about fighting tyranny or foreign adversary or any sort of agreed upon national enemy. What he's saying to fight are the liberals, the progressive agenda. He wants to promote the fighting of those that disagree with him ideologically. And that is not America. That is a very un-American ideology, that those that don't agree with me must be fought because they are the enemy. So to even propose to put that on a coin meant to represent the country as a whole and the 250 years in which it has endured is just wrong. It's out of place. It is not something that is appropriate for that purpose. Really, I suppose if you wanted to take it as such, the coin sort of gives you an idea of what to fight against. It's saying this man on this coin is what we should be fighting. While obviously not the intention, it gives a very clear view of a man who is wrapping himself in the American flag and the American ethos purely for his own ends. He is not fighting for America. He is what America should be fighting against, to not be like, to not embrace this sort of false patriotism, but to embrace the notion of equality for all, not equality for only those that are like you. One problem with this proposed coin is that U.S. code prohibits standard coins from bearing the image of a president who hasn't been dead for at least 2 years. And while Donald Trump often looks like he's been dead for a couple of years, he is in fact alive, so he will not qualify to be on a coin if he is a living president. A Treasury spokesman was quoted as saying that the final dollar coin design has not yet been selected to commemorate the United States semi-quincentennial, but that the design reflects a, quote, enduring spirit of our country and democracy, even in the face of immense obstacles. But unless they're talking about Donald Trump himself and his fellow Republicans in the government being that obstacle in which we have to overcome, I'm really not seeing it. In a way, it's a shame that former President Jimmy Carter hadn't died a few years ago, because I think he would probably be a much better choice to put on this coin to commemorate the nation's 250th birthday. Because unlike our current president, he in many ways embodied the American spirit and ethos far better and more accurately. But given he only passed away at the end of 2024, he also would not qualify. Bottom line though, it's an ugly coin. It's got him on both sides of the coin, which is just bad coin design in general. And as a commemoration of our 250th birthday, it just isn't right. Chances are though that it's not even going to happen, because the law does prevent a living president to be depicted on the currency. But at the same time, I guess, since when have laws been an impediment to the current administration and to Donald Trump? But I don't think this is going to go through. It's a proposal, but I think it's going to stay just a proposal. It's not going to actually become a minted coin, thankfully. But at the same time, it's not just about a coin and whether or not this is going to go through and we're going to have a Trump dollar coin. It's the fact that they're even willing to propose it in the first place. I can't think of a single president since the bicentennial that would even dare to propose to have their face put on a commemorative coin for the next American anniversary. And sure, you could say, well, but it wasn't Donald Trump's idea, it was the treasurer. But he wouldn't have come up with the idea if he didn't think his boss, Donald Trump, would not have immediately jumped on it. So while he didn't literally come with it himself, he definitely approves of it, and I'm not even convinced that he didn't come up with this idea and then just had it proposed by someone within the Treasury, because he knew that if he proposed it, it would seem like what it is, which is a pure act of vanity. Something of this nature shouldn't even have gotten to the proposal stage. It is just that blatantly inappropriate for what they are proposing. Donald Trump has no place being associated with our nation's 250th year of existence. While it's true that he is unfortunately president during our nation's 250th year, he is not emblematic of our nation and what we stand for, and he has no place on a coin commemorating our nation. If nothing else, I think we owe it to future coin collectors to not have someone put on this coin that they have to look up in a history book because he was a nobody in the general history of our nation, which I do believe that future historians are not going to look kindly on him if they remember him at all. Because despite his vanity and desire to be remembered as some great leader, Donald Trump is never going to be that. So while, yes, there is a law literally barring him from appearing on this coin due to the fact that he is unfortunately still alive and may or may not still be so in 2026 during our 250th national birthday, the legality of it is only part of the problem. He doesn't belong there. It is not appropriate to put him there. He is not America, and he is not what we should be putting on a commemoration of our nation that endured 2.5 centuries. Americans of the present deserve better. Americans of the future deserve better. They should not have to have a Donald Trump coin be how they commemorate our American semi-quincentennial. Even when he is long dead, Donald Trump doesn't belong on American currency ever, but certainly not while he still lives, and certainly not on a coin meant to celebrate our nation having gone through 250 years of being. I, for one, greatly look forward to seeing this proposal rejected and the idea of a Trump coin never becoming a reality. So that will be it for this episode of A Slice of News. I've been your host, Mr. Slice, and until next time when I cut you off another slice of news.